Hello and welcome to Rule of Thirds, a conversation about art, design and culture with your hosts
Burns,
Mike
and Jude.
If this is your first time listening, welcome to the family. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod. Don't be shy to say hi.
A question about the arts and the craft. If you didn't know, then it's good that you asked. You tune into the culture, just the rule of thirds. If you want to, you could tune at work, yeah. They tell me, does that frame fit good? Does it feel right? You want a still photo for your website, but you want a logo we can design, right? Yeah.
In this episode, the boys reminisce about their week and talk extensively about creative burnout. Enjoy. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are listening to this episode. We have the Rule of Thirds. My name is Jude.
my name is Bernard or Burns.
And I am Michael/Mike.
And over here we talk about art, design and culture.
Yeah,
How's everyone doing today?
doing amazing, mate. How you doing?
Amazing's great.
That's the first amazing I think
Not
we've got.
in a while.
Yeah, word.
Yeah, man.
Why so amazing?
It's coming to the end of the year now, shortly.
Mm.
But I feel like I'm getting more creative.
That's really good.
Can you get more creative?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
man.
can.
I feel like I am. I feel like
That's good.
basically the other day I had this realization that I'm actually good at what I do.
Hey.
Love
And
that,
I
love
think
that.
like sometimes like it takes a lot of people time to actually find out what they're good at,
Mhm.
and we found that. That's amazing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think even more, I feel like I don't know if I want to be an artist. I could be. But should I be?
As in like visual artist or rapper.
No.
I'm just checking.
You
I'm
have to
just
confirm. You have to
checking.
confirm.
No,
'Cause
wait.
you never know.
You got rapper essence, like
That's
yeah,
the
you
thing.
got like
Nah.
the
I need to go for effort to be a rapper. But no, like actual visual artist.
Okay.
But I don't know.
what's holding you back from that.
Sometimes it feels like you're not. That's not you.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? In the sense of like, it's hard to transition to that. You feel like you're putting on something that you're not.
Really? Have so many
That's
thoughts.
interesting.
I don't know how to explain it, but
Okay.
it's like, it's hard. Okay, like even when I went into design
Mhm.
from finance, it's
Mm.
like I was trying to be a designer, but now I'm a designer and I'm trying to be a visual artist. That's how I feel.
I think I get
Like
what
you're trying to-
I get what
to-
you mean.
Be something that you're not already,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but eventually
Okay.
you then become that.
So is that what, a fake it till you make it, or more so like
No,
pretend you are who
I think
you're meant to be till you
it's-
become that?
You start off as a junior in it,
Okay.
kind of
Right.
thing. And I think now I feel a bit more senior as a designer. I feel like I know my stuff now. That if you're coming to me for work or whatever, you know what you're coming for. Or I just know what I'm capable of. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas as a visual artist, I don't know what that even looks like. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I get
Okay.
you.
My thing, man, it won't be like Mike's, but it will be something completely different. To
Yeah,
that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. It's how do I explain it? Like it could be video, it could be written format.
Mm.
So you're just trying to figure out what like
Like
your
medium
niche
kind of
is.
thing.
Yeah.
How you communicate
Mm.
Yeah.
specifically.
Exactly.
Do you feel like you have that in design? Like, do you feel like you have like a particular like language that you use all the time?
Type.
Like, so
Yeah,
it
type
could
of-
be
Yeah,
that
yeah.
then translates
Because
into
I think
the visual artist side of things.
soon I reckon I'll have posters out soon.
Nice.
Mm.
Exciting.
Who knows?
Definitely gonna buy those.
Yeah, man, who knows? So that's something I'm definitely wanting to do because I think I always loved typography, even as a youth. I don't know why. I've always loved it. So yeah, I feel like I'm dreaming again, which is really important because sometimes dreaming kind of gets snuffed out when you almost just feel tired or disappointed.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like I'm at
yeah,
a stage
yeah.
now where I can start again. Yeah, that's me.
I love that.
That's amazing, man.
How we doing, guys?
International global lunch.
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
The boss to himself. He's back from holiday again,
again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you just fly out.
bro. This guy is just. I don't know which sugar daddy or sugar mommy you've got, but like the way you're flying out is a bit.
Yeah.
What are you saying? Welcome back.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
Thank you guys.
We like your time.
For the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so bad.
Last week you gave us a New York accent. So this week,
I
what
can't,
accent
I
is?
can't do Tunisian.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. The best
Tunisia.
I can give you is Shukran Jazzy.
Yeah, no.
Jalil. Basically saying like we would just say we say
We
thank-
apologize to anyone who's offended by that, by the way.
Shukran, I think, is supposed to be like thank you because we said that literally throughout the time that we
Okay,
were in
okay.
Tunisia for like everything.
Shukran.
Shukran. But then there was somebody whose name was Shukri, but then I think Shukri also means friend as like a pet name thing.
Oh, okay.
So that was something. But
So
that's
shukran.
Shukran for thank you,
But if I was saying thank you, friend, shukri.
I guess so. To those who speak Arabic, please confirm with us. Thank you.
Yeah,
very
please,
much.
because
Make a TikTok and just give us the real pronunciation. Thanks.
Yeah.
But like it was really good. Can't lie, every time. Gosh, that sounds so. Anyways, the sun was great. Weather was great. I feel like when I leave the UK in general, I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
do I need to be here? But commitments and like you guys and like friends and family. So I'm probably gonna be here for a bit. But I definitely want to go sometime soon. I don't know. I don't see UK as like my forever.
Why
I
is
feel
that?
like
Why
we-
is that? Because
Oh, come on.
no, generally, I want you
But
to.
no, we've spoken about this like often on the pod though. Like I think the state of the country right now. Sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Why am I actually here?
Yeah.
Apart from like, yes, I know how everything works here. I love London. London is home. I have like my people here.
Mhm.
But it's just like,
Other than that.
at what cost? Because sometimes to be here, I think when we think about like community and stuff, even like when I think about like the London I once knew compared to like the London that I'm going to like be in like the next like 20, 30 years when we've probably all moved out of like our ends, live somewhere completely different, new communities. What's community even going to look like for us? Because
It's going to be very different, man.
very like we're not like our parents' generation where like there were closer links and ties and we made more and they made more of an effort
Yeah,
collectively.
Mm.
But when it's different for us.
Yeah.
Or maybe our effort looks different.
Our
but
effort
what-
is very different in the sense of with our. I think with our parents. Anyway, from my personal experience, I just feel like they speak to their brethren, but back in the day with the whole party, it's not the same vibe. Whereas with us now, we can still be connected in some way, even if we were not speaking to each other,
right.
by just following somebody on Instagram. It's weird because
Like keeping up people's lives.
yeah,
in a
it's weird because you don't have to
social
even
sense.
speak to somebody to know what's happening. I know
Yeah.
somebody has gone through this experience because they've
Or had a
posted it.
child or
Do you
something.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't even need to speak to you to even know what's happening.
Yeah.
But
But that
I guess does that mean you're connected?
no, exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, is it what's the real depth of like our relationship?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think about that often. But the holiday was good. The sun was great. Similar to Burns, I think I'm in a much better place now than I was in like some weeks ago.
Right.
Man.
I feel like I have a lot more clarity on like what I want to do moving forward.
Yeah.
Like shout out to Barbara, is a friend that I went with,
Come on.
and like we spoke
That's
a lot
Barbara.
about because we're in both similar like stages of like we're outside of full-time work again,
Yeah.
and I think for her because she had like done a year of traveling.
Mhm.
Even some of us like realized that, wow, you did a year of traveling, and then like a month later, you like when you came back in July, a month later you were in work full time again, and me and a friend Ora were like, is she okay? Because like you've really been out of like the rat race and like the norm for a very long time, and all of a sudden you're back in like corporate because she works as like used to work in government, so it's like
I feel like we're telling Barbers.
Yeah,
I know, sorry.
Whole
Hey,
lot
sorry,
of stuff.
Barbara won't mind.
Yeah.
But find for more, follow her on Blissful Barbara.
There we go.
At
Balance.
Blissful Barbara or Blissful_Barbara on TikTok and Instagram. Plug. And yeah, like we would be like,
Yeah.
is she actually all right? And like we've had conversations about like plans moving forward. What would you actually do like with the time?
Mhm.
I think because now that I'm freelancing again, even though I haven't been freelancing, it's like, okay, maybe I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to like really focus on like the visual art side of things now and really make certain plans happen. So like it's funny like Burns mentioning what he was talking about in regards to like what does it really mean for him to exist as a visual artist. I think that's something that I had been thinking about for like the past year, 2 years.
Yeah.
Like
You have.
trying to understand, cool, what I make is art, but then how do I actually explain what it is that I do? And then learning about, so I've been looking a lot like so the surrealism movement and stuff and realizing, okay, that kind of links with that and stuff. And there's like similar links and that's helped me to explain my work. But then also other people have helped to explain the work too, like how they feel when they like see the work and stuff too. And trying to understand more about like the art world. I think, like you were saying, Burns, like jumping from design, like from finance to design was one leap, and then you now want to do another leap from design into art, where like everything is different. It's not like you're like, some people do get commissions and stuff, but it's not like you're working on a brief.
Yeah.
Or it's like a different type of brief, or you're there creating the work, and then it's like, how do you present that work? Do you want to go the gallery, exhibition route and go into the fine art space? Do you want to kind of like sell prints and do that on a social media type thing? Or do you want to do a bit of both?
Yeah.
So I've been thinking a lot more about that and stuff, but I think I have more clarity on like, cool, I know that I think I want to do like a physical thing, a solo show type thing.
Yeah.
I've had the ideas for ages. I've spoken to both of you guys about the ideas for a very long time. Probably because I'm at the point where I'm just like, I've actually spoken about it way too much. And I think because I've been to so many exhibitions that I'm like, yeah, I know a lot of people now that have done their own solo show.
So why not you?
Why not me?
Yeah.
And now I can definitely make it happen. So I'm just trying to like work towards that. But yeah, in a good space, working on many grant applications, residency applications and stuff. But hopefully one of them goes through. And if not, then I'm just going to have to like figure out an alternative. But we move.
Fine, regardless.
Yeah. How about you, Jude? How's life?
Life is okay.
What's up?
No, life is, I think, okay, so, I mean, honestly, first of all, you guys, like, I love the fact that you guys are, like, in that kind of realization space, because I think recently there's been a lot of conversations with my friends just about creative burnouts, and, like, feeling that kind of inspiration and so on and so forth. And I don't know, it's just, I think recently I've realized that I'm the catalyst for a lot of people's.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, like a lot of people's like wake up like, oh, okay, maybe I can do this.
Yeah,
you are actually.
Yeah, no, like.
Yeah.
But
she's the one that we just felt, I need to get to work again now, man.
But I don't think you understand. Like,
no, 100%.
But the thing is,
a lot of people look to you.
But no, but the thing is, I never saw it like that. So like just recently we were having conversations and I just started realizing like, because I was speaking to a few friends about purpose, passion, and drive, and how without purpose it's hard to have the passion, and then obviously if you don't have a passion for it, there's not going to be any drive to do what you have to do. So based on the conversation that we had on the pod about how like music has a lot of spirit, and like without putting your spirit into it, the music just feels like, oh, it's just like, you know. And funny enough, we're talking about how Blue Eyed Soul being like music from white artists that yeah. So we're talking about how like sometimes like I was saying how
What a time.
I was saying how when I listen to white people artists who make soul music, it sounds so carefree, but you don't feel like
They're
any
going
type
through
of.
something.
Do you get what I'm saying? It just feels like, oh, this is just free music. It just feels like, oof. Obviously, there's going to be exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
There's going to be, just like in general, like Billy Joel or like, I don't know,
I was about to say
Benny
Elvis Presley
Sings
or
or
something, but that
yeah,
was
like
bad
even
as well.
Yeah,
like,
I know you mean with Benny Sings.
you know what I'm saying, or even someone like even Cleo Soul. Like I genuinely just feel like, wow, this is just nice.
Oh, you're thinking like
clear
modern
music.
day like artists. Right?
Even modern day,
What
yeah.
do you mean by clear music?
Like you just feel like, but you don't feel like,
It's not as.
I'm about to cry.
I feel
Well,
like
it's not as
I
weighty.
feel like
Personally.
Cleo's got that though.
I was
Personally,
gonna say I feel like for Cleo definitely, but
personally,
would you say it's
I
more
don't
like
feel
the
like.
the faith angle?
Yeah, I
No,
feel like
no,
maybe the
because
faith thing can get a bit like, you
even
know.
in Mother,
No, that was a
Like,
beautiful album as well.
It
I
was,
think
yeah.
it's because the reference was to her child. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's why I was like,
yes.
it didn't feel like it was just like airy fairy. It felt
But
very.
I love the music.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying like I love
But
Cleo
it
Soul,
didn't connect to you like that.
but I don't feel like I'm about to cry when I listen to Cleo Soul personally. And I'm not
okay.
saying everybody has
Yeah.
a different affiliation to songs. Like there's some songs that I've cried to songs from white artists before. That not saying that it doesn't exist, but for me, we're given the example of like how the Blue Eyed Soul sometimes doesn't have the spirit that black soul music has. Where if you hear like a Clark sister singing, like you can actively hear in their voice like the emotion that they're trying to convey. with Blue Eyes Soul, it feels like the words convey it more than the voice, if that makes sense. So the words might be more heart-wrenching, like, wow, she's saying some deep things. But the voice is just like...
Right.
So you're like, oh, this is
more
nice.
so it sounds more clean, sounds more...
Yeah, it's more polished. It's more like packaged. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's not like gritty and like...
There isn't like the... Yeah.
There's not a certain weight.
Yeah, it's... I don't want to say perfect.
That's interesting because even we
you
spoke
know.
about that faith thing, but like a lot of like well, I don't know if you say Ed Sheeran is it's got would want to make you cry.
Well, that's another example, to be fair.
Yeah. But like I was gonna say a lot of that kind of gritty music, a lot of those artists have come from the gospel scene. So you mentioned the Clutches, for example.
Yeah.
I feel like those things come from like they're speaking about something that I don't know, when it comes to faith, it feels like they're speaking about something that's very deep rooted in them. Do you know what I mean?
That
so
is
maybe
fair.
that is because I guess the majority, I mean, not that is true, but a lot of these blue-eyed soul kind of artists, they might not come from that kind of
Some of
background.
them come from church, though.
I mean, I guess like Yeba's a great example because she actually I think has.
She came from the church.
Yeah,
That's why there's a certain something. Possibly.
Yeah.
So maybe that could be a very good
But she
example.
wouldn't. She wouldn't be your.
Ed Sheeran also came from the church, so
Yeah, word. A bear of them came from the church.
bro.
Really?
What
Yeah,
singers
bro.
came from church.
Bears.
Ed
Ed
Sheeran.
Sheeran, bro.
Like even there's a few
I
people
know.
who came from
Gospel choir.
Hillsong and stuff that
Yeah.
are singing. Like, yeah. So I just feel like, so basically, based on that example, we were saying how like, again, like there isn't, if you can't feel it, then it's like, what's the point?
Okay.
And some of my friends were saying how like they feel like sometimes they lose the not the joy but the passion to do what they're doing. So be it art or music or whatever.
Why do they lose the passion?
So this is the thing. They
Yeah.
feel like they just burn out. And I was saying how sometimes as artists we get caught up in the technicalities of how to do it.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
So we
yes.
think about like technique and execution and presentation
Yep.
that we forget like what is this actually for and where is it coming from? Like even if it's a simple conversation about how you're the best in the world, it's like why
Why are
do
you
you
saying
want to
that?
express that to someone? Why do you feel like that's important? Why do you feel like that's necessarily like adding or whatever the case may be, bringing that kind of emotion to other people?
I resonate with that a lot. I resonate with that a lot
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of times, even I've been trying to push out some content for all the thirds for a minute.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But like, you're right. I think for me, the reason why I don't do it is because it's the approach to it. Like, okay, how am I gonna do it? How am I gonna present it as opposed to just get started? And it's so hard to get started because you have it in your mind. You have it a certain way how you want to present it, so you don't get it out because you can't come out that way. So I mean, and you end up not doing anything.
Yeah, and it holds you back, definitely.
Holds you back,
Yeah. So I think a lot of my friends were feeling like that.
Mm.
And I think the conversation that we all ended up having was like, okay, if we can focus on your purpose, as in like the why, that will give you the passion to obviously say, okay, you know what, because I know my why, whenever I feel that, like I'm losing the will to do it, I always go back and be like, this is why I'm doing it.
Right,
and that revives that passion again and again and again. So you don't feel that kind of like creative burnout. Because I think a lot of creative burnout sometimes comes from not knowing why you're doing it anymore.
Yeah.
And if you're just doing it for the technicalities and the presentation and the skills of it, then it's like a lot of times we design stuff and it's like we just design for the sake of it. But it's like if there's no reason to why you're designing, then it's like you start to lose. You even think you're bad at what you do because you don't know why you're doing it.
It reminds
You know
me
what
of
I'm
like sports in the sense of like for these like sports like football, athletics or whatever. Like during like a friendly game for a football game, you're not gonna put in your full vim.
Because you're like, it's not enough to be.
Yeah, now
on it,
Champions League final, everyone's woken up.
You remember why? Yeah.
Same athletics, like in the sort of training season, whatever. You're not really doing your thing, but then Diamond League comes, Olympics comes, whatever. You're now trying to get your PB, trying to get. You know what I mean, it's like for creatives, it almost feels like I don't know. Do you feel like we have training seasons? Do you feel like we can distinguish that? Because sometimes it's almost like it's our big tournament. No, if that makes sense, like
every next thing is like your.
If it was every
your
next
big
thing is
one.
Olympics,
Yeah, I hear you on that.
and if you're running like Olympics for every single thing you got to create,
Body mash up.
yeah, your brain gonna get mashed up for sure.
I was going to say, Loki, that's kind of how I operate.
But the thing is, even someone like Sampha with his album, like I think it's his second album, third album.
No, I want to say it's the second. He's
It's
done a
the
lot of
second
EPs
one.
and stuff. But
He
I
has
think
done a
it's
lot of
second.
I think
EPs.
it's
The
second
first one
album.
was the
Process.
the split year.
Mm.
Yeah, so like even him, he went through
Took
so
time.
much. I think his mum passed.
Oh
I don't know if that was before or
Okay.
I think it was shortly after.
He did talk about loss on the Zane Lowe interview.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he had I think a daughter.
Yeah.
So like
So life was happening.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's meant to is he meant to go 100 meters and try win this massive trophy,
Mm.
or is he gonna take time and release these small EPs? The EPs almost feel like league games, and do you know what I
I
mean?
see
So,
what you're saying.
like,
But
yeah,
I was gonna say, I think like two things. I think one, like, you know, when you initially start something, it's fun and you're not thinking about all of these things. And it reminds me of what you were initially talking about, like going from finance to design, then to visual art, what that looks like. I think because there was a time where it was fun and you were just doing things and you weren't even thinking about the technique. You weren't thinking about. You're probably thinking about, like, oh yeah,
at some
you'd
point,
want this to reach certain people and like for them to engage with it, but you're probably more focused on like your expression and the work itself. And I think as like you become more developed and stuff in certain things, you now start thinking, oh crap, there are like rules to this thing. What are these rules? I want to make sure that, especially if I want to get to a certain place, I have to like abide by the certain things in order to get somewhere.
yeah,
Or if I want to reach this goal, I have to do things in a certain way. If I want to make an album, I can't be as like free as I used to be. There needs to be more structure and it needs to be more guidelines and all these kind of things, which sometimes, I guess, it's an adjustment. And I think sometimes that adjustment is very uncomfortable because it's like, it's not what we usually do. Like, we're used to designing for fun. And then all of a sudden you're telling us to design because we're getting paid. It's like, we're going to have to like learn something new and go through that process and stuff. So I think some of it is that. And then with the training, I do agree. I think, yeah, the whole idea of just feeling like every next thing you work on has to be this big thing. But we probably do ourselves a disservice because I remember talking to a friend, Mary, and she's been doing graphic design for a really long time. Shout out to Mary. And she was like, yeah, sometimes it feels like you're trying to come up with like a hit single every time.
Yep.
But realistically, that can't happen. Like, there are going to be some designs, and I'm sure we've all been there when we have created designs that are okay. They've done what they needed to do. It wasn't the ones that you're like, yeah, this is the diamond in my portfolio.
It's crazy, isn't it?
But it's like, this is good.
Yeah,
Like, even us that we've worked on full-time contract and we've worked on certain things, like, there are some projects that we've worked on that are just like good.
yeah,
And have like, we may not be excited about them, but they're good. And then there's other things that we have worked on that we're like, yeah, we did our serious one, we've done our big one and stuff. And I think sometimes it's just realizing that some projects will probably be like that. I guess when it comes to music though, it's probably different. And to fair, other like mediums, like someone's EP could be that practice or that training session. Or sometimes you might just, especially if you have the time, because I think that's one thing, it's a luxury. Like, certain artists can afford to take a step away from stuff and can afford to disappear for years and work on a really beautiful body of work and come out again. Whereas other people, it's like, oh, you're going to probably watch me practice and grow in real time because I maybe don't have that luxury because I have to like be on top of things. And maybe there's label commitments for some people and all these other things too. But yeah.
The interesting thing that you both were saying was, especially with the music example, was that it goes out to the public to then get reviewed if it's like, let's say, good or bad. But I think even with Sanford's example, it's clear he's been making music.
Yeah.
It's not like it just came out. Like, I've got an album, here you go, in 2 days. Over the years, even through that process of grieving, having a child, he was still doing.
That's true.
And what I liked about, I was listening
You
to what's it called?
The Song Exploder.
Song Exploder, and they uncovered sort of like Spirit 2.0, which is on his album La High. And that obviously that podcast just breaks down different songs. But like, it was interesting seeing how he like, I think he had a daughter and he just let the song he finished the song but let it breathe for a little bit.
Like that.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, even some parts of the song was like, he had to call other people. So Yusuf Days, for example, he called him because he made his own drum pattern, but then he like, I know Yusuf will pattern something proper. So what Yusuf done, it's crazy because when I didn't even clock he was on it, but now when I hear it again, I'm like,
You're like,
of course,
oh,
of course it was him.
Yeah.
But like he got different people, he even got like an orchestra to do some parts. He got another artist to sing like a little bit. Like it was very organic. It wasn't like, oh, I need to make sure I get the hit.
Yeah.
His thing was just like, okay, this sounds good. Okay, you lot get this, get that. It was very much over a space of many years to come to that point. And it's like, wow, that song's probably one of the best songs from the album.
Yeah.
And that's not a song that he was like, I gotta make this.
But then that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe that's why the football example might not work with the arts, because the football example is, there's a trophy and it's very obvious. Like the trophy, you play a few games, you play whatever number of games, and you either win or you don't win, or you lose. If you win, keep winning the games, you win the trophy.
Yeah.
It's clear. With music, it's like there is that level of you can win in so many different stages. So like you're saying about even him with his daughter playing it over and over and over again and realizing, hold on a minute, something is missing here. I need to fill in with this. That's a winning moment, because you don't realize those things if you don't constantly work
What
through
I'm
it.
saying
If
is
that
that
makes sense.
some artists don't even get to that point because they're so focused on the
The delivery
get-
and okay, this needs to be out. Yeah,
so
definitely.
it's like that
definitely.
they don't even consider that as even a win. It's considered as wasting time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But
your word.
I was like, I
Word.
guess it depends on like, again, like the goals, and like for some people they have like label commitments, so they actually need to follow certain things. Like if you don't, I don't know, chart how many times, or if you don't do certain things, it's peak.
Sorry, that sounds like a threat. It's like if you don't shut,
Basically, yeah.
I mean,
times you
must.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows because it seems like sometimes people just put out stuff for the sake, but probably for a reason, because
No, definitely. Yeah.
it's art that's being paid for, and they want their money.
But you see, this was why I was giving the Blue Eye Soul example, because that's the difference. There is a commitment level of like, okay, this needs to just be done. It has to be beautiful. It has to be clean. Get it out there. We know it's gonna work.
Right.
And then there is like, yo, this is something I am too invested in that I can't just throw it out.
Right.
Or even if I am to throw it out, it has to be in this state. Like this raw. Like if you listen to Sanford's album, for example, I know we keep going back to that album, but there's so many elements that are untraditional.
Yeah.
Song structure wise, sonically, you're not here listening like, oh, this is gonna be obviously on the radio. Like you hear it like, whoa, this is different.
It's not it's not
Not
radio,
radio
album.
friendly.
But I bet you they play a lot of the songs on radio
Yeah,
now
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's like that's something completely different and that's him.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of artists, they end up losing that feeling, and that's when they start to feel like that burnout. Like even creators, like you go on social media, you see someone posting this and posting that and posting this, and you're like,
Yeah. And I think when you
Yo.
get burnt out, you go to the easiest solution. That's why maybe you don't feel the passion or the emotion, because they're using templates essentially to
yeah,
finish your job.
like what's popular.
Yeah.
On like Pinterest, as respectfully, like Pinterest as inspiration.
That's even
where it's like,
even the question. Like when you do get this creative burnout, like if Pinterest is not a place you go to, where do you go to? Because I was watching something the other day, and this girl, she's you know those random videos like, oh, day in the life of a graphic designer in Los Angeles, and it's
yeah.
like I was watching it and she was like, she likes to get prints from like these random shops and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's mad expensive.
That's true.
Word.
But like, what is your reference? Like, where do you get your references and inspiration from?
The funny thing for me, like sometimes it is actually Pinterest. But I think there's this one book I bought like years ago. I think it's called Know Your Onions, and it's a graphic design one, but they got them for different creative disciplines. And it's either that or the graphic design school book. They talk about primary and secondary sources of inspiration. And I think they class like Pinterest as like a secondary, because obviously it's like
It's really,
loads of different images that is on a website. But like finding the inspiration from those things, or like even if you, let's say, I think, so you know Kith, the streetwear brand, and their style of photography, it's, you see the model and it's very like clean, it's very like minimal, but it has inspired like this trend of like similar type of photography. So I follow this really great graphic designer on Twitter. Her name's like Elizabeth, I think Godspeed, I think. But she was talking about how that Like she was talking about the trend, and she was like, yeah, like loads of people. I can't remember what she called it, but she called it a particular like phrase.
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, like Kith have popularized this style of like portrait photography, but it's not actually them that created it. It's like, but other people would look at Kith and be like, yeah, they're the ones that made this thing.
That kind of like
This is
sartorial.
Yeah.
Reminds me of what's the name of the group in New York with Joshua Kessie.
Oh,
Sunday school.
Street Etiquette.
Oh,
Street Etiquette.
okay.
But like
yeah.
similar
Some-
vibes.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, with
Similar.
them and stuff.
That kind of Okay.
I hope it's Elizabeth Godspeed. I'll try and find it. But yeah, she was like, no, like this was actually this is from something before. And she gave it a label, and when I checked that, I was like, oh, okay, this is actually what it is. And she spoke about like the like tone of the photography, and I think just like elements that will be in that. And that for me was like, cool, this is like the primary source of like the inspiration.
Okay.
I've got the specific thing. And I think it's sometimes doing it that way, especially if it's online, because a lot of people find that inspiration online these days. Like if you see a style of something and find what it's actually called, then you're able to like do more research to get the original thing. Or like sometimes yes, go into like all these vintage like bookstores and like buying books are expensive, but you can still go and just take pictures of pages and stuff. Like, I do that.
You really can.
I do that often.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I think, but obviously you just put in my album or something and just flick through them.
yeah,
Bro, go on your notes app, press the scan button,
I'll probably have bare stuff.
and then scan every single page if you want to.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have the money to buy the book, do what you can.
Yeah.
When you get the money, go and buy the book.
facts.
You know what I'm saying?
But by the way, Elizabeth Goodspeed.
Good speed with a no.
At DOMESTICETCH domestic tech something. I don't know.
Domestica.
Nah, I think
No,
completely
it's
different.
domestic
Oh,
TCH.
sorry.
It's a weird spelling.
Yeah.
She's on Instagram as well, at Elizabeth. No, at Elizabeth _Goodspeed.
Yeah. But yeah, independent designer, writer, trend spotter, and casual archivist.
Yeah.
So
That's what I want to get into as well. Archive.
Yeah.
But that's something that I don't know. There's something about it I just love so much.
I feel like more creative designers even
we need to do it, man.
I was gonna say, I feel like we do it though.
It is
Yeah, we
different.
do it,
but
but
we
it's
just
a
we just
different
don't.
way.
Yeah. Because I feel like if we all have Pinterest boards, we all kind of do it in our own
I haven't
way.
used Pinterest in a long time.
But it's probably just we need to maybe be more mindful of like,
Yeah.
let's say sorting out the images. Like, okay, this specific.
Tumblr.
Yeah, no, Tumblr
Yeah,
is
I miss
exactly
Tumblr.
that.
Yeah. Tumblr was archiving, you're right.
But it's just maybe because now it's like everything's so on demand, and like think about how tailored our Tumblr pages used to be like back in the day.
I missed
Like
it.
we would put effort. If something is not matching this theme or this look,
Gone.
as much as we like it, it's gone. Or you just
Gone.
like it, and so but you know, instead of like reblogging it and stuff. But like that same effort, if we just do that with like what we have on like Pinterest, that's basically.
I suppose we
archiving
do
and
that
stuff.
with our Instagrams though.
Yeah, for some people,
Instagram has now
definitely.
become a place of inspiration for me, though. And I think it's because of the people I follow now. I'm actually
Yes.
more intentional with following people that actually enjoy their work.
Yeah.
Because actually, if I'm being honest, I'm not trying to see some of this stuff that. Because the thing is, we live.
Nah, but it's, oh
I
god.
was thinking of Mr. Soler. Anyway, thoughts and prayers.
Like even that stuff, like I think I've come to a point now. I've realized, okay, there's different groups on this Instagram thing.
Right.
You've got the comedians.
Yeah.
You've got and everyone needs a bit of that in their life.
Of course.
You've got the influencer babes and
Yeah.
influencer guys. You know, you got the creatives, and it's like I'm in that pocket now. Do you know what I
I
mean?
hear it.
And it's like I'm more like, for me, Instagram's to laugh and to be inspired now. I'm actually going there to. I don't even post that much.
What
anymore.
else is what else is
No, some people use it for business.
Oh,
I guess
word.
I can use it for business, but if I'm being honest, business comes in other ways. So it's
Right.
like, but like, yeah, I'm trying to curate Instagram to be what I want it to be, because you can complain that social media is bad, but I guess we have a power to make it what we want it to be. Do
Definitely.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
trying to be more intentional with doing that stuff as well.
I was gonna add as well that I think we should definitely play more. I think
Yes.
that's one thing that a lot of
Yes.
like
Yes.
creatives are missing.
Time though.
No, but I think
You don't
like it
think
doesn't
so?
take that long to
As in-
play.
Mm.
Like
But like it doesn't have to be like a purpose, or like it doesn't even have to be a big thing. Literally just messing about.
Yeah,
with
like
stuff.
just
I think
playing.
we actually don't do that enough.
yeah, like honestly, like if you ask so anybody
Cool,
who's
yeah.
in the creative like discipline, like
Yeah.
yo, okay, let me give you an example. Stylist, right? Ask them when was the last time you picked up a doll and dressed it up, or when was the last time you picked up like a Instagram, not Instagram, sorry, a Photoshop thingy and started
Yeah, and
putting
just
like
put like clothes
different
together.
clothes
Yeah.
together and stuff like that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's so many ways to play. Like graphic designers, when was the last time you picked the pen and just took a piece of paper and just
Just
like did
started.
quick sketches? Like,
Mm.
I feel like we don't play anymore. Like, I remember back at like secondary school,
Yeah.
you take old magazines, cut them out,
Collage, yeah.
collage, like try different mediums, like try a bit of paint. It might not be your discipline that you want to go into, but being able to play and it will inform your primary discipline. I feel like a lot of creatives, we don't really play anymore because we're very caught up in like, I need to keep up with what's happening. And let's be honest, design is growing so fast that we feel like if we, like, for example, now we have 3D, UX, UI. There's so many different facets of it that we feel like we need to keep up. We can't regress and go like, oh, let me go and play.
Yeah.
People are getting
No,
that
facts.
$80,000 half a year, and
just
you're here
playing.
playing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but it's so important. Like, we need to prioritize our joy in what we do.
That's real.
You know, money is
That's facts,
money.
that's
Like,
facts,
yes,
man.
it will make you happy to some extent, but it doesn't go
No,
all the
but
way.
the thing is it's weird because there's this now common trend now where people that I've gone uni with or other people that have gone to do these traditional stuff,
Mhm.
a lot of men are like, don't know if I can do this for long, you know.
Mm.
And it's because it's like money cannot sustain. And the thing is, we all need money, we all want money, but it's like money feels great when you're using it for what you love, though.
Mhm.
No,
But-
yeah.
Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? But if
yeah.
you're having to slave and labor
Yep.
just to make coin, and then because the thing is that opportunity cost thing of like
Mm.
you can make loads of money, but do a job you really hate, and you have really small time to enjoy that money, or you can make decent money doing a job you really love, and you got more time. Do you know what I mean? Like I think I guess it depends on you, depends on your lifestyle, but I think most creatives are quite similar in the fact that they don't mind if it's decent, but at least you get to enjoy
Do what you want.
life.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get to think, you get to dream,
yeah.
you get to create.
I just hope that that's how people like take it, because I know right now, especially like Michael was saying, this country is burning down. Like, everybody needs money to survive.
Because even I was watching a video by was it Bloomberg? Could have been Bloomberg,
Mm.
but it was about Nigeria. It was about Lagos, about being like a tech
Interesting.
city.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Lagos
yeah,
is
yeah.
booming right now for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and it's interesting seeing the mix of people that are living there. A lot from the diaspora, but a lot of people moving there. Some people don't want to move there because I was watching. What's his name? He's a Nigerian YouTuber. He travels everywhere. Tayo, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
He came to London for 30 days, and like he did all the tourist stuff, and even people telling that Londoners don't even look at the tourist stuff, to be honest. But like he was even here and he was like, could I live in London? Nah, it's too expensive. Quality of life is not really great.
Yeah.
And then in that Bloomberg video I was watching, they were like, you know what? Actually, no, sorry. In the Tayo's video, saying that, okay, I'm getting it mixed up. In one of them videos,
One of the
anyway,
videos,
they
yeah.
were saying that if Lagos,
Mm.
if Accra, if I'm saying both because we're from those countries, but if those cities and those places had good transport like London,
In a heartbeat, I'm
Had-
gone.
a healthcare service that you can
Mhm.
trust,
Mm.
had police that wasn't corrupt.
Hey,
I feel like a lot of us would be.
I don't think anyone will come here. What
Yeah.
would be the
Do
point
you know what I
coming?
mean? And it's like, wow, if that's all that it takes to fix, and obviously, this is a long a rabbit hole because we now speak about what the colonial powers have done to get us to that point.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, a lot of us probably would even be here right now. Probably would be, and to be honest, maybe in a few years' time that might maybe not a few years' time, maybe in 10, 20 years' time, but maybe that might be the reality for a lot of us where even if it's not our home countries, maybe it might be somewhere where we just feel like, yeah, this is the best place for me to work. And I think as
Yeah.
technology becomes a bit more sophisticated, and already is way sophisticated, but like, who knows, maybe VR can be so real that
Oh, I'm sorry. You start to see you're in London.
let's say you're missing your people, you can just
Oh,
butt them in a room somewhere. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I think there's there's places for us to be where we can create again, where we can breathe again. Because London, you have to take how many vitamins, and you gotta.
Word. And it's December, everyone's feeling depressed now.
Honestly.
Yeah, it's a bit peak. Yeah. But, you know, at the end of the day, I do think, like you're saying, if we can find a space that will make us feel comfortable enough to play, but also obviously be okay to survive, because obviously playing, it does cost, like you were saying, time.
Yeah.
It's not free. So if we can find a place that can afford us to have both, then I think we'll thrive the best.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I think creatives, we shouldn't even, in an ideal world, we shouldn't be stressed out about money. Like, because we really do solve a majority of the world's problems in terms of like communication, like all these little bits and bobs that people might see as insignificant but so important. And
Facts.
like we're here struggling, stressed now about money. Or money becomes the primary goal to create.
Yeah.
That becomes like the driving factor. It's like, oh, do you want to create? If you don't have the money, I can't do it. It's like now it's like it becomes jaded.
And to be honest, we kind of do have a lot of power and control as creatives, because we are what people see on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Kind of is not, it doesn't even compare, but like it kind of reminds me of like I've been listening to George the Poet podcast, and speaking about sort of like Africa and just how like it's been corrupted, or just how the colonial powers have like taken so much of our wealth and our minerals and stuff. And it's like, if only Africa knew its power. I think even like Kwame Nkrumah tried to start this whole United States of Africa kind of thing. And it's like, right, imagine that happened, the power. And it's like, even as creatives, there's so much power in our wealth and our minerals and what we can give to the world. Is like, if you understood that what that was, you could charge a fortune. And to be honest, people are charging a fortune for their art and their work, but it's time for the mass to realize their worth and their value.
Arise.
Arise.
Yeah, it's giving me
My creatives, arise.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to today's episode of Rule of Thirds. Feel free to share your thoughts with us using the hashtag Rule of Thirds Pod. And for more from us, follow us on Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod, or our personal accounts for myself, Burns JNR,
Mike at _ man like Mike.
And Jude at Kente Kwame.
Catch you guys in the next one.